Okay, I think we're ready to start. My name is Ashley Johnson. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Savvy Delgado here today, who is going to present, and I will let her take over. I'll keep monitoring the waiting room. Okay, Savannah?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, hello everyone. All right, so this is my first sort of webinar. I'm Savvy and I am a postpartum coach, mom of 3, and the founder of New Babyology. I created this space to support new moms like you during the most tender, overwhelming, and beautiful season, the 4th trimester. Today I'm sharing the things I wish I knew and new moms that I support wish they knew during those early weeks. The things that no one prepared us for, but that every mom deserves to hear. Okay, so bear with me while I open up my share screen so I can share this with you. Also, while I'm trying to figure out how to share, I have been helping new moms for more than a decade, and I mostly help moms at nighttime in the first 12 weeks, sometimes 16 weeks. Okay, let's see. Here we go. All right. So let's start from the beginning. Sorry that it's not letting me do what I want to do. Okay. All right. Again, welcome. And let's head to the second page. All right. So this isn't what I expected. The truth about the first 6 weeks. The first 6 weeks can feel like a whirlwind. Everyone talks about the baby, but not enough people talk about the mom. You might feel lost, joyful, exhausted, and in love all at once. And this is normal. You are not doing it wrong. You are becoming. It's normal to feel overwhelmed. You can love your baby and struggle at the same time, and you don't have to feel like you have to bounce back. Okay, so let's talk about what your body actually needs. So you need rest, nourishment, and time. More rest than you think. And I know that that is difficult and maybe hard to actually think through because we are really just, jumping right into it. We don't really have time to rest because we're constantly with the baby, but it really is important to take time to prioritize that. We live in a world that praises productivity, but postpartum is about healing. You need rest, not just sleep. Eating foods, nourishment, eating foods that fuel you with protein and healthy fats, drinking water constantly, and say yes to help. This is something that is extremely difficult for us moms, and sometimes we may not actually know what it means to say yes to that help or ask for that help. And I'll leave that for the question and answer part, but it is important to try to say yes if someone offers help. Slowing down is not a weakness, and it is a way to honor your body and your baby. And moving right along to your baby, what baby actually needs. You, not perfection. You don't need to be perfect. your baby needs connection, comfort, and love. Not like a strict schedule or, you know, what some of the Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest moms are out there posting, how perfect it is, uh, how as soon as your baby comes out, everything looks amazing and it's just so perfect. That's not what your baby needs. Even though it can sometimes look like that, don't get me wrong. Um, Crying doesn't mean failure, it means communication. You are your baby's safe place, and that's more than enough. So your newborn thrives on your presence rather than perfection. And that is like the most important part. I think like it's difficult as moms to think about like what we're doing and are we there. It's like the common phrase of like you when you're flying in an airplane, the first thing that you do is put your mask on before you put your child's mask on. And I think that's sometimes really hard for us moms. And we feel guilty if we're not putting baby like instantly first. And there is a way to balance that. Next slide. All right. So this one is what no one actually told me about mental health. You are not broken. Navigating motherhood can be overwhelming. You may not feel like yourself. Intrusive thoughts are more common than we talk about. And it is okay to ask for help. Your hormones are shifting, your identity is shifting. You might not feel like yourself, and that's okay. If you have scary or unexpected thoughts, please know you're not alone. Try to ask for help. There is no shame in needing support. This is a season, not a sentence, and this is also a transition, not a failure. We can also do in Q&A, like kind of talking about like what asking for help looks like. As it is often, I understand with me in motherhood and also with supporting new moms, there's this like gray area where there's not really a place for you to ask for help. And so sometimes we talk to the pediatrician and the pediatrician is like, well, that's normal. Or sometimes we talk to a friend who has a similar baby and they're like, well, I think that's normal for a month-old baby, even though it actually might not be. And so I think that's kind of hard to find the place to ask for help. So I'd love to answer any questions in the Q&A about that more if anyone wants to kind of figure out that middle ground or setting up a plan of where we could ask for help. So some of the things that I like to support new moms with are gentle anchors that help by adding tiny habits to ground you, having a daily check-in. What do I need today? 10 minutes outside, starting your day with a nourishing breakfast, and even a simple journaling prompt. These small rituals can give you just enough stability to feel like you're human again. Ask yourself what you need each morning, sit in the sun, or just take a breath of fresh air. Eat something with protein. Write one thing you did right today. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to feel real. One of the most hard things about the new momhood is that we just kind of do the same routine every day and everything kind of starts to blend together and you're like, wait, which diaper did I just change? Was that poop? Was that pee? When did I feed you? Which side? What, left, right? Did I just give you this bottle? How long ago did I give you that bottle? It just kind of starts to run together. And it's really nice to sometimes sit back and really check in with our five senses. And I think some of these little gentle anchors kind of just like will help with that, where it's not so overwhelming, where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, this, this. It's just taking a breath back and being like, check in with your five senses. What do you see? What do you smell? What are you feeling right now? And it really just, it even helps with like remembering things later on in life. I know that I would have loved to have maybe jotted down a few notes when my babies were actually babies. They're not babies anymore. They are 7, 14, and 16. Um, so just remembering like the baby smell and looking at the baby, maybe it's like the first season of smiling. Some of those things really, really, I wish that I could have maybe jotted down some notes about. But also it just grounds you for the day. So it's kind of nice to just check in with yourself. Okay. Next slide. You are doing better than you think. And this is your permission to breathe. Also to lower the bar, say no when you need to, let go of guilt. You are already enough. You are not behind. You are not failing. If all you did today was love your baby, that's enough. Lower the bar, take a breath, and know you are already doing a beautiful job. This can be sometimes so hard, especially I feel like more so now in today's general like nature of parenthood. We do have this like generational gap where parents from maybe our parents or even grandparents tell us like, oh, well, when I was a parent, I did this. Oh, well, when I was a parent, I didn't do that. I had to do this. And I find it to be one of the most frustrating things for new moms because they already have this view of you as a parent and you want to try to decide um you know you've already thought like maybe this is how I want to be a parent, or maybe I don't even know how I want to be a parent. And having outside pressure or outside judgment just really makes you think and question so many things. And I think that that's just, unfortunately, it's just not fair. And what's so nice about parenthood now is that you get to be in control of how you would like to choose to move forward as a parent, as a new mom, what you would like to do. And it doesn't have, everybody's journey is different. So it's not the same. Everybody's baby is different. It's not the same. You may share similar things, you may have similar experiences, but sometimes it's really not the same. So I was just wanting to share a little bit of an experience that I had with one of the moms that I am currently working with. Um, I met her when her baby was 4 months old, so a little further along than the first 6 weeks, but she had been doing a lot of things on her own, and which is mostly what I find with new moms is that sometimes we are jumped into this responsibility of having to do things on our own. And so I wanted to ask her a few questions because she really went through a hard time. Her husband traveled a lot. Her baby had several tongue ties. Everybody constantly told her it was normal. She was not sleeping at all for the first 4 months. She was having to co-sleep, sleeping when he was sleeping. It was an extremely difficult time for her. I was truly blessed to be able to meet with her and get started to offer her the next step of support. But I would love to share, hopefully we'll be able to hear these little notes, but I asked her a few questions. So the first question I asked her was, looking back now, how would you describe those first few months before we met? And here was her response.
Oh boy, describe pre-Savvy is tough. Hard. Let's see. How would you describe this first few months before we met? So Eric was traveling back and forth to Barcelona. He was home for the first 2 months of Maverick's life, and then that started like we were gone. He was gone more than he was here. And I was pretty much taking every nap with Maverick because I was so tired. And I would joke that I like haven't connected a sleep cycle in months, but it was kind of true. Because he would only sleep if he was held. So I was like, well, I might as well co-sleep with him and try to get more sleep. Like there was no difference between day and night. And a lot of people, I think, say that in the first few weeks, but that lasted for months for me. Like I didn't get out of my pajamas for months, and I like couldn't cope with how we were functioning and what was going on. And then he was tied, and that didn't actually affect breastfeeding until my milk regulated at 12 weeks, where he had like I would literally spray milk up until 12 weeks, and then he actually had to work for it. And that's when he couldn't, and it was just like, he was super frustrated. I didn't know what to do because all of a sudden everything changed and I wasn't sleeping and I just didn't have the bandwidth or brain capacity to even like troubleshoot anything. I just was like completely in survival mode is how I would describe that. It was not fun. And I felt, I was also like asking, actually, let me answer that later. You probably asked a mental health question. Do you?
Okay, so that was the first part of her experience. And then this second piece, I asked her, what are some of the signs you now realize were red flags in your baby, your body, and your mental health? And let me make sure.
Red flags. I think at 12 weeks when he would just like suck once and scream and suck twice and then scream, like that's definitely like, okay, like what's going on? Is he tied? Is he like, what is happening? Or like I had to use a breastfeeding pillow and be perfectly positioned, and he was up 20,000 times a night. So I was like sitting up with a breastfeeding pillow and like couldn't lay down. Like I was like, how are these people like what do you mean you're co-sleeping, you just like breastfeed and you both fall asleep together? Like I'd love that, but what, I don't understand how you do. Like it was like these experiences that other people were having where I'm like, that is so not my experience and it's so opposite. And it's hard because I was trying to not compare, but it's like the delicate line of how do you not compare, but also how do you go, oh, okay, that like his experience, our experience seems so wildly different. Maybe that's something to look into, but honestly, it was such a source of pain for me. I didn't want to like I couldn't talk about his sleep without crying because I just was so like, I literally am tearing up right now because it was so hard. So yeah. What else are red flags? I would say I was like, anybody who doesn't have, like basically anyone who's not mom friends, I like had to push away because I felt like I had to. I haven't even really thought about like, was that best? But I think I'm a very like, play a big sister role in a lot of friendships because a lot of my friends are single and don't know what it's like being a mom or don't know what it's like even being married. And I think I had nothing to give even to myself because everything I was giving was to Maverick, and I just pushed away friends that I'm like, you can't even begin to get it, and like you're asking me questions that are so overwhelming, and I frankly have no desire to like educate you on what parenthood is right now because I just can't deal. So I don't know if that's a red flag or if it's more just like protecting myself, but I was finding like asking my doula and like asking Eric's mom, I was like, I'm not okay. And I don't know what that means, but I almost need someone to tell me I don't have postpartum depression because I'm very fearful of that. But I was like, but I'm not okay. So I'm like scared to say I'm not okay because I don't want someone to say like, oh, you have postpartum depression and you're going to like drown you're going to drown your kid like those people on TikTok or like on the news. And that I was like, I don't have any of those thoughts, but like, I'm also very much not okay. So and I just like didn't know who to say that to, or because Eric, I love him, but he was not around, and we've kind of worked through some of that and are working through some of that in just our marriage of like, okay, baby number 2, we can't act like, even how we're acting now with like him traveling back and forth to Dallas. That's why we're moving to Dallas. So I was like, okay, my husband is at his capacity and like everything fell apart for him in his world. And I'm like, okay, I can't really go to my husband. So who can I go to? I don't really have a lot of friends here. We don't have family here. Like, it was a lack of support, and then lack of like not knowing who to turn to, because who is like, where is that information safe, and where will I not be judged, or where will I also be taken seriously? Where it's like, yeah, I just didn't really know who to turn to, I guess. So I just didn't, and decided like, yeah, this is just hard, and like I'm just gonna sleep, and like I just like laugh it off, because I'm like, I don't know how to, I can't tell any, I don't know. I'm like, what, a random doctor that I meet for the first time for something completely unrelated to Maverick or birth, and they ask how my mental health is, like, laughable. I can't begin to talk about it without crying. So I'm not about to talk about it at all, because I just like, this is not the time to let out the floodgates. So it was like, even though those questions were asked of me, I don't know. I'm like, now is not the time where I want to have a cry sesh with a random doctor I don't know, that I'm like not even here for anything birth related. So, yeah, I think my midwife asked me some questions and like made things sound like very normal, and like actually did maybe like, oh, okay, like I actually can be proactive about like I forget what it's called, seasonal depression and things. She's like, that's real, and you're heading into that. And I was like, oh, okay. So like she talked about it so like frankly, and like this can happen to anyone, and it's not that like there's anything wrong with you. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's good to know. But obviously my midwife can't be my therapist. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one.
Okay, so that was part of her continued experience, and I there were so many things that were hard. She sent these to me in voice memos. I'm still working with her, and I felt very tearful in the experience that she's had to go through before she met me. And so the next question I asked her was, how did you feel on the day that we connected?
The day we connected, so over the phone, I was like, well, if it's a Broncos player, they have the I was like so desperate that I was like, they have the money, and like they have the money to bet whoever they want. So I'm like, I assume I'm at least in like the right ballpark. But I was like, currently I have no other leads, because I've reached out to multiple people the dentist who did Maverick's tongue tie release, and I was like, none of those were kind of dead ends, or no one had availability and whatever. So I was like, that's kind of my only lead. So I'm like, you sounded like a normal person. You sounded kind and like unrattled by my very much rattled presence. And so I felt more like, is this going to be pointless? Because I was under the impression Maverick needs to wake up because he's not eating enough, because he's tongue-tied. So and like that whole thing. So I'm like, so he's not actually getting enough. So that's why I need to feed him all night. So what's the point in hiring a night nurse if she's just going to bring him in to feed 10 times a night? So that was more my hesitation. It wasn't about like you as a person or anything. Like I literally didn't have the emotional bandwidth to even evaluate something properly.
Okay, and then the next part that I asked her was, what shifted after we started working together in your baby and you and your daily life? And this is her response.
The thing that I noticed that shifted, well, when I got like more sleep, even when you were, waking me up to feed him, I still was like, wow, once a night versus 10, I'll take it. And I'm not the one holding him. And like, I can actually sleep without my like shoulders and back being super uncomfortable as I'm trying to co-sleep with a baby that's so small. So more sleep, and that brought me more sanity. But I also think like, I had resentment for Eric when he would be in Barcelona, like, and he gets to have his whole life, which, like, I think so many new moms feel toward their husbands, but it was more so about the, like, hey, I need to stay 3 more days, or hey, I'm like, I am at the, like, race and, like, hardest thing of my life, and you're now moving the finish line like 3 miles back, like that. And so it would just, I think I just had like more resentment and anger towards him.
So that one was a good one, I felt like, to kind of bring in the conversation about like our feelings towards our partners, which can be difficult. Okay, so this last one is, what do you wish other new moms knew, especially the ones who are struggling silently like you were?
I wish other moms knew, which has come from my own experience and then other friends that I've seen have completely different struggles, like their baby sleeps through the night like so fast, but they had like breastfeeding issues and have had healing from birth issues where they had a 4th-degree tear and they need to have like multiple surgeries to fall. Like, I think I wish more moms knew that everyone has a different story. Everyone has their own successes and their own struggles. And that like proves to be more and more true each time. And like someone else's struggle, like I don't want someone else to struggle with me, but I want someone to get it. And I don't need to like dampen my successes of like, I have an oversupply. And I've been able to like give milk to people who need it, to other people who like have an undersupply and need to supplement. So I think it's just like I don't know, surrounding yourself with people who can like both sit in the hurt and champion you no matter what their journey has been. Which is, I don't know if that's something to like know, or like you just need to find those people, I guess. I wish I knew it's not my job to educate people on motherhood. Like I remember a friend asking me some questions over text, and like I sent this long thing of just like, I'm learning this and this is really hard and this, and like I just got the response of like, oh Kenny, you're like our big sister that we just learned from. And I'm like, oh wow, like I think I need a friend. I don't want to be a big sister. Like, I'm glad you enjoyed my TED talk, but wow, like I could really use a friend. So I think it's just like, it's not my job to explain myself to literally anyone, whether it's about vaccines, whether it's about decisions I've made, whether it's about how I'm feeling, what motherhood is like anything. Like, it's just not my job. And I'm really glad that I protected myself in this, like I had my phone on Do Not Disturb for weeks, because I was like, don't care. Like, nighttime is around the clock for me right now, but I think there's just like, you don't owe anything to anyone, and that's not selfish, and that there's certain friends for certain seasons, and like not every friend is gonna all of a sudden like be there for you and go into battle with you of whatever the newborn season looks like. I also wish I was educated on the things that I decided to educate myself on, like vaccines and like tongue ties, or I don't know, who knows what else, developmental things. But I think I just didn't know about, like, I was like, oh, night nurses are for people who like want to formula feed right out the gate, and like they sleep through the night and want to travel, and like their nannies mostly watch their kids. Like, I didn't know I had more options, and I thought everyone suffers like this, where it's like the newborn trenches, and I'm like, okay, so how long are the newborn trenches? And I think I was very insecure about asking for help, specifically from a night nurse because I was like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, all I have is time for him. That's literally what my job is. So like, I think finding, I don't know, the difference, or like, I wish I knew just the difference of like, yes, he is my job now, but that doesn't mean I have to sacrifice everything in my life and my sanity and my physical health, my mental health, to then like, I don't know, silently suffer. And like, I'm like, other people do this, like, I guess this is how it is. And I don't know, maybe I think I'll learn more even as we have other babies of what it can be like, and how not everyone has babies like our sweet, sweet boy. But yeah, I just like, it's just a constant learning of like, everyone has their own journey, and it's okay for whatever I choose for my journey and what's best for our family. And I don't have to explain that.
Okay. So thank you for letting me share her experience. I felt like it was really important because I think it's like her situation can be so common for moms. And for me, it makes it like it's really sad that we feel that sometimes like all this pressure is on us, and like sometimes we just need a friend. Sometimes we just need to talk through those things. Sometimes we need non-judgment. And even though her situation was absolutely the most extreme, um it is nice to know like there can be different things on the scale. So let's talk Q&A, ask anything or just listen in. This is your space to be seen and heard. Feel free to ask any questions, share what's been hard, or just listen. No judgment, just support. You're not alone. And then real quick before we start that, I did want to talk about, so I would love to stay connected. I am offering, if you want more support, you can check out the First 16 program. I'm creating the First 16 program to be the support for those first 16 weeks with mindset and nutrition, and like just kind of helping more of like a guidance for what it can be, that missing link that I was talking about earlier. How do you ask for help? Where do you ask for help? Sometimes I feel like they send you home from the hospital and like that's it. And so I'm creating this program called the First 16, and it will be in an app, and it's a resource to sort of help you on your journey. And I'm actually in the process of creating it. So if anyone would like to join and help be a founding member, there's no cost or anything, but I just would love like feedback or support in that direction. I see that I have a typo here on my email, but my text is fine. So you can use that, and we'll make sure that you get the correct email and everything like that. Thank you so much for your time and your patience on my first webinar. I hope you were able to get a little bit of knowledge, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Savvy. Does anybody have any questions or anything they would like to discuss? Let me see. Let me check the chat one more time. Okay. Okay, so we can send everything in a follow-up email to you guys. If you have any follow-up questions, concerns after you get off of here, feel free reaching out to me. I'm Ashley Johnson with Yana and Savvy. Maybe we could drop your contact information into the chat?
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. There's her phone number. And if for some reason you need it, you feel free reaching out to me. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. And thank you, Savannah.
Thank you.
You guys have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.